for thought piece number 3, I will be discussing conflict handling styles, contingencies in the workplace. So, conflict is pretty much inevitable in any organization or just day to day life, but how we handle it makes all the difference. So, today I'll break down the 5 conflict handling styles, explain when they're most effective, and provide, another example or a personal example of how I overcame certain conflict. So, conflict handling styles refer to different approaches people use when responding to disagreements. So the 5 main styles are forcing, avoiding, yielding, compromising, and problem solving. In class, we used a square to kind of help understand it more. And so forcing, this style is pretty much very assertive and uncooperative. It's best for like a win-lose situation where one party pursues their goals at the expense of another, and it works best when quick decisions are needed, such as crisis situations. Next would be avoiding. So this style is low in both assertiveness and cooperation. It's used when the issue is trivial or when delaying a response could be beneficial. However, avoiding can lead to unresolved conflicts that resurface later. Next would be yielding. So this pretty much involves giving in to the other party's needs to maintain harmony. So it's effective when preserving relationships is more important than the actual winning the actual argument. Next would be compromising. So this approach is best when parties have equal power. So it's pretty much like a middle ground approach where both parties give up something to reach a mutually acceptable solution, and it's useful for resolving moderate conflicts when time is limited. And again, here parties kind of lack trust and openness. And then finally, it would be the problem solving. So, problem solving is probably one of the best outcomes. This is both assertive and cooperative, aiming for a win win outcome. It works best when both parties have important concerns and are willing to explore creative solutions to achieve or to ensure that both parties get what they want. It is also best when interests are not perfectly opposing and parties have trust. And so, a perfect example of this, I want to give you an example of forcing. So, I remember experiencing this during a group project. A lot of my examples have to do with college, as this is the most I have experience from. And so, during a group project, when we were running out of time before the deadline, a lot of my group members, we couldn't decide on the final design for a presentation. There was an instance where some wanted, a minimalistic look, while others preferred some more detail and colorful looks. And so with only a few, hours left, one team member took control and said, we're going to, with the minimalistic design, there's no time for debate, nothing else, this is it. And so at that moment, the forcing style kind of resolved the conflict quickly and ensured we met our deadline, but I know a lot of people were unsatisfied with that outcome. Some team members were frustrated because they felt their opinions weren't heard or considered. And again, this example just shows that while forcing can be effective in urgent situations, it can also create tension if it's overused or not used correctly. So I just want to conclude and say that conflict is unavoidable in the workplace, but choosing the right conflict handling style based on the situation can lead to better outcomes, whether it's competing, avoiding, accommodating, compromising, or collaborating. um, Understanding these styles helps teams navigate disagreements effectively.